Hey, what's going on YouTube? Marine X back at it again. Okay, the Streamlight Wedge has been an EDC, an everyday carry flashlight, which quietly hit the market a few years ago. This is my 2-year review of this flashlight. And Streamlight, I really like your products. They're some of the most reliable products that I own of yours. But I got one major complaint. We'll talk about that here in a second. The Streamlight Wedge is a very interesting light. They sent this. So first off, this video is not sponsored by Streamlight. My first Streamlight wedge I bought with my own money, the Streamlight Wedge XT, and this new purple Streamlight wedge they sent out to me for me to check out. I don't owe them any content. I just found it very interesting that this flashlight and their just line of flashlights, especially their programmable flashlights, should be way more popular than they are. They just have way more value than I think any of their competitors. And it just baffles me why they don't make a bigger splash. I think I can guess why. But before we dive into my 2-year review, let's just take a look at how you get it if you get yourself a brand new Streamlight Wedge. So you can now get the Streamlight Wedge in Coyote, which I have, black, purple, blue, and red. I might not be using the special names that y'all gave all of the colors, but those are the colors that you can get. So this has a momentary throw. They call it throw, stands for THRO, temporarily heightened regulated output. That's 1,000 lumens. You can get that for 35 seconds. The working mode on this flashlight is 300 lumens. So after 35 seconds, it steps itself down to 300 lumens. 300 lumens, it can run for 3 hours, built-in internal battery, so all sorts of stuff. So here's what it looks like when you get it. It's a nice see-through box, giggity. It is what it is. So when I first got the Streamlight Wedge, it hit the market. It really took me by surprise. I may not even need a knife to open this thing up. It kind of took me by surprise because it was so much ergonomics. Like, that is the number one thing about the Streamlight Wedge, which I absolutely love. It is an ergonomics monster. It fits good in the hand, especially if you weak side carry. It's a reversible pocket clip. It's made of military grade aluminum. It looks fantastic. It is a little bit long, but it's not so aggressively long that you absolutely can't wear it in the pocket. So you get a little bit of literature. You get some stickers, troll stickers, Streamlight Strong. All right. So I think that Streamlight does focus, similar to Surefire, on getting their products into first responders, the military, stuff like that. And so the stuff that is sold to civilians is maybe not the primary focus. You get a USB-A to USB-C, and I guess it's just paracord. I guess if you want to kind of rig this up through the little lanyard hole in the back. Here's the purple color compared to the Coyote. Of course, I've reversed the pocket clip, which is one of my first favorite features of it. You can see mine. So I do have the pocket clip reverse. So when I take mine out of my pocket with my left hand, I can immediately, with my left hand, turn the flashlight on. If you leave the pocket clip this direction and you weak side carry, you're going to have to take it out of your pocket, flip it around, and then turn it on. Completely first world problem. But if they give you the option to reverse the pocket clip, like, why would you not do that? That just makes a ton of sense. You can see these little grooves in the flashlight itself. This is where the ergonomic monster comes in. These little, it's designed to contour naturally with your hand. And I think that's what makes it so freaking awesome. It's an easy on-off type of switch. You don't really get a momentary mode, but you technically kind of, because if I just want to go 300, 300, 300, I can do that over and over and over again. That's pretty good stuff. If I also want to go straight into the throw mode, warning, we're going to go to a big flashlight here. So 1,000 lumens just like that, 1,000 lumens just like that. So I like the build of this. It has I think T6 screws if you need to take this thing apart, built-in internal battery. I've never had an issue with the fact that the USB-C port is exposed. Very minimum branding on this bad boy. So what don't I like about it? We'll get to that in a second. They did come out with a little brother of it. They have the Streamlight Wedge XT, which I might get the specs wrong. I'll throw them up on the screen just in case I'm wrong. I think the Streamlight Wedge XT is a 50 in a 500 lumen mode, or it's a 50 in a 300 lumen mode. I really don't remember. But one thing I will say about the Streamlight Wedge XT is it has a programmable feature. So I have mine set to turn on at 50 and it just comes on at 50. But if I wanted to, I could pre-program the flashlight to automatically come on at the high lumen mode, which I don't remember what it is right now off the top of my head. And I like the fact that they made a smaller version of their most popular flashlight. Nikkor, are you listening? You got popular flashlights. Can we get a smaller version of one of your most popular flashlights? And then, of course, they always have just very, very plain Jane flashlights that are 10 tap programmable. Here's a 10 tap programmable. This is a Streamlight ProTac 2AA-X. This is one of those like pencil type flashlights. This thing is fantastic. Momentary switch, easy to use. Like it's just ergonomic monster. Doesn't have all the flare like some of the Nikkors have. Very reliable, good built-in battery, easy to reprogram this thing if you don't, because right now I have it programmed where I don't get the strobe mode, but I can reprogram it where I do get the strobe mode. It's fantastic. But here is the thing when it comes to the Streamlight Wedge. It's the pricing. If I was trying to get the Streamlight Wedge and I wanted to get it for the pricing that I got it 2 years ago, you think that that would be a slam dunk thing to do. 2 years ago, I spent $84 on this. Maybe it was $89. I'll put the price on the screen for whichever one that I spent. Nowadays, they release new colors, and this one easily goes for $120, and it has the exact same features with the military grade aluminum, no additional features, and it costs more money just for the different color. If you were trying to save money, this may not be a purchase that would be right for you. But the partner of today's video might be something that might be right for you, which is Mint Mobile. I personally tried to convince Mrs. X to save by cutting out some of the streaming services, maybe save on the amount that we order out, and it was unconvincible. Could not be convinced. However, I was able to quietly try a 3-month plan with Mint Mobile, and for me personally, I such enjoyed it that I've stuck with it. And, you know, I like the fact that it takes less than 15 minutes to get it set up. I was literally able to bring my phone with me in my phone number. One of my phones is using eSIM. The other one, Mint Mobile, sent me out a physical SIM. And it was a very seamless process for me. If you want to try Mint Mobile, that might be a solution for you if you're looking for a different solution when it comes to your mobile services. You can try $15 a month for 3 months if you buy a 3-month plan up front. For me personally, I really enjoyed it. Go to trymintmobile.com/MarineX and check out the 3-month plan for the details down below. And I personally am not disappointed in Mint Mobile, and I am very, very selective with the companies that I partner with on this channel. Mint Mobile is one of those ones that I partner with happily. When it comes to savings for the Streamlight Wedge, I don't know if you're going to get that same seamless opportunity to save money with this because these don't really have a big used market. Even the Coyote and the Blacks hover around the price that they started off with, or they will oftentimes be a little bit more expensive than they were years ago. But this is a very interesting use case for this flashlight because 2 years down the road, I still can recommend the Streamlight Wedge. The ergonomics are a monster. It feels really good in the hand. I love how simple it is. You get 300 lumens or you get 1,000 for the turbo mode. When it's recharging, it's very easy to understand what's going on. You plug it up and you see red means that it's charging. When it's all the way, when it turns green, it's fully charged. It will also give you the same indicator when the battery's running low. So when you're using this bad boy, it will also let you know like, hey, you need to charge it soon. It's very simple. I thought this was my first forte into a built-in battery flashlight. A few years ago, I was all about AA or AAA only when it came to my flashlights. The Streamlight Wedge was the first one that got me away from that, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. There are other flashlights that are out there that don't have a pocket clip, that just don't get in your way like this. It's very seamless to use. I love the weak side carry. I just don't like the pricing all over the place. But if you can find the Streamlight Wedge and you can find it below 90 bucks, I know it only has 2 modes, but the ergonomics, the reliability, I think personally they are worth it. It is more of like it's a floodlight with like sort of a spot beam in the middle, specifically because I don't want to, all the flashlight snobs that are out there. This thing gets 69 meters on a constant on for the 300 300 lumens, and it gets 110 meters for the throw. So you're getting, it's not the longest distance in the world for either one of those meters, but this is really designed to be an EDC flashlight. This is designed to be the type of flashlight that you could be an everyday carry when you wool pants, jeans, joggers, shorts, beach attire, whatever. That's why it has this good deep carry pocket clip, which is going to be great, especially as you're entering the winter and the fall. This easily is going to go over your dickies. I have no issues with this going on my apron whenever I'm like in a woodworking mode and I wear a very thick wax canvas apron. It's just fantastic. Now its little brother, this one kind of leaves me a little bit confused because the Streamlight Wedge XT also costs like 85 bucks. You would think that it's a much smaller battery. It doesn't have the same output, doesn't have the same location for the USB-C port. It's a rear tail switch. It has a built-in lanyard, which I'm not the biggest fan of. I've never taken it off, but I just know I don't like it. And it's also like 80 something bucks. And I think if I were to do a little bit more exploring, I would be led to believe that Streamlight has more of a focus on some of the contracts that may be willing with local governments, with first responders, maybe even with the federal government, because they're doing well. They're putting out fantastic products. I just want to know more about how can we make this more attractive to the everyday carry community, because the Wedge, other than the price, is a banger. Now the Streamlight Wedge is interesting because it does fall in this world of the flat flashlights, of which I have several, and I think that it's a very interesting world all of itself. I believe it holds its own very, very well. You know, it's kind of very attractive when it comes to the everyday carry flat flashlights as being one of the best to go in your pocket compared to even some of my favorites. It's most comparable probably to the Nikkor EDC 27 UHI. UHI obviously has a more powerful high lumen mode. It has more functionality, but it's fatter. It's bigger. I'm telling you, when you get that pocket clip, let me take off this lanyard so you can kind of see comparison to comparison. When you get this pocket clip in your pocket on the Nikkor, it is very apparent that you have a much wider flashlight in your pocket. And because they went with a different way for their deep carry pocket clip, it's very much more pronounced. Although the Streamlight is a little bit longer than Nikkor EDC 27. If we don't include the button, it's much longer. It feels like it carries deeper in the pocket. Look where the pocket clips fall at. See how the pocket clip of the Streamlight Wedge goes to the very top of the flashlight, whereas the Nikkor EDC 27 leaves probably 4 or 5 millimeters of flashlight over the top. So that's why it's so comfortable to carry this bad boy in the pocket. And then the Rovivon, the E30 Pro, is just a flashlight I would never carry in a pocket. It's way too wide, way too big, but it has a lot of functionality. But then I think one of the most hard charging competitors has to be the Olight Arcfeld, the Arcfeld Pro, the Arcfeld UV, the Arcfeld whatever. They're way shorter. They get about the same amount of output, but it does have its pros and cons. The Olight is able to be worn on the brim of a hat. It does have a little bit of knurling on the side, but I still think the ergonomics is better in the Streamlight Wedge. And the Olight uses a proprietary charger. If you lose it, you got to wait for another one to come. If I lose the Streamlight Wedge USB-C charger, which I thoroughly lost that USB-C charger probably a year ago, who cares? Just grab another one. I just threw this on the charger with a battery bank. So you can't do that with the Olight, but these would probably be some of the most comparable of the two if you had to make a decision. So what do you think? The Streamlight Wedge is 2 years old. They haven't come out with a new one. They just came out with new colors and maybe a Streamlight Wedge V2. I don't know what the heck they would call it. It's not on deck because the fact is they released new colors. I still recommend it for the ergonomics. The pricing is the only part that makes it the most, sometimes the hardest to find. Check the link in the description down below. See if I can get you the best pricing and all of that good stuff as well. If the first time stopping by, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you a part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me run my great. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.